Branded films. What are they? And can you tell stories that authentically connect with an audience while promoting a brand? These days, brands are understanding the connective power of human stories and are open to marketing through narrative and documentary films. But to craft a genuine brand film, businesses need to figure out how to express their values, personality, and culture authentically. Today, I'm going to break down the creative development and production of a series of branded short films that I wrote and produced, and the interesting approach that the client envisioned for connecting with their audience. Prior to the COVID pandemic, I was approached by an awesome Portland music organization that presents a regular piano concert series. They wanted to create a series of videos that would build brand loyalty and acknowledge the concert-going audience that supports them. The desire was to make promotional videos that focused not on the organization, but on their audience, to come up with an idea that the audience would see themselves in, and that would ultimately celebrate them. This was a pretty interesting creative challenge. The music hall where they perform their concerts holds 465 people. That's a lot of people. So how does one tell a story on an authentic and identifiable level when talking about a large group? An audience, after all, is usually referred to as a single mass, the audience. But as the old saying goes, the world is as you are. That is to say that although we might all experience a piece of music together, we each bring our personal histories and current state of mind to that collective moment. We perceive it through our own filter. So how do you create something that speaks to the diversity of each individual while representing a group experience? That was the creative challenge. After a series of initial conversations with the client and a fairly limited budget, I set out to develop the pitch. With the audience experience in mind, the first concept was a series of short vignettes highlighting audience members listening to a classical piano performance and being transported to their own imagined place. Deep underwater, the peaceful woods, floating in space, or in just some cool architectural environment. Visualizations that expressed how each person experiences the performance in a totally personal and subjective way. For the client, this was getting close, but to my unexpected and pleasant surprise, they wanted it to go further, to recognize and express a larger spectrum of the audience's emotional experience. So one night, while sitting at my mom's place and looking around her living room at her things, the books on her shelves, the art supplies at the ready on her drawing table, and the decorative pieces that made it her home, my mind began to wander. Looking at all the details in her home reminded me of going to weekend estate sales in the past and the strange feeling of wandering through people's homes that had passed away, getting just a glimpse into their lives through the objects that they'd accumulated and surrounded themselves with over time. Things that meant so much to them, but to others were just stuff, or clues that offered some vague hint of who they were as a person. Then it struck me. This could be a powerful and moving way to express the idea of perception, inner memory, and subjective experience in a series of short films. I'd remembered the feature film trilogy by the Polish filmmaker Krzysztof Kieślowski, Blue, White, and Red. Each film followed different lead characters whose lives at times intersected. It got me thinking, perhaps the idea of the audience could be expressed by following three strangers in three short films, all unwittingly crossing paths at an estate sale and eventually at a concert hall. So this was the revised pitch in a nutshell. I proposed creating three short films. The format of the films loosely utilizes a similar format to Krzysztof Kieślowski's color trilogy, Blue, White, Red. Each short stands alone, but the lead characters cross paths through each film, linking their lives in various ways, culminating in each of them arriving at the concert hall and being a part of the audience. The films are poetic impressions, momentary windows into the lives of our characters, each touching on their unique emotional state. A writer struggling to write his story, a young romantic mending a broken heart, and a grieving daughter tasked with her late mother's estate. These three stories express the way our individual lives can intersect and impact each other in ways we never know. and how individual lives and stories form the audience, each experiencing the performances through their own emotional lens. Well, the client really connected with this approach, and the films were soon greenlit. We shot the film with a very small crew, myself as director DP, my brother co-producing, one grip gaffer to work on the lighting, our location sound recordist, and a fabulous hair makeup artist. We also had our 3 wonderful lead actors, Bryn Barron, Jack Strom, and Jessalyn Gillespie. It was a 2-day production filmed in several locations, including a residential home, a local coffee shop near my studio, and a concert hall at Portland State University. It didn't feel like a commercial shoot at all. It was very much a creative short film shoot, supporting character-driven stories. And in this case, the client embraced a non-traditional approach to connecting with their audience, which was encouraging to see as a filmmaker and storyteller. For the client, the 3 films premiered at their season's opening concert to a full house as a successful thank you to their loyal and supportive audience. For me, in the end, they weren't just branded story films. They actually ended up becoming personal films as well. If you'd like to watch the 3 short films, you can check out the first one right here. Thanks for watching, and until next time.